It has been 270 days since I started investing in SCHD, and in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how my investment has been performing since that time. Guys, I always tell you that I absolutely love doing these update videos for you guys because it gives me an opportunity to show you how we take small amounts of money and over time, and we just continue to stack on top of stack on top of stack, and that's how we're building out this portfolio. Now, make sure you stick around because I'm going to be giving you guys an update on the next ETF/index fund that I'm going to be adding to my portfolio starting in January 2026. So if anybody ever tells you that you cannot build out a portfolio or accumulate wealth over a long period of time if you don't have a lot of money at the beginning, they're just simply not telling you the truth. There has been so much going on around the world, and I truly believe that everything that's been going on has an impact on how the stock market is moving, starting with the longest shutdown in U.S. government history, potential war between the U.S. and Venezuela, although I think that's more talk than anything, at least I hope. And then, of course, the potential peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. All of these things have been happening, and there have been many more that I just wouldn't have enough time to actually mention on this video. But they've all had an impact on the market. And if you've been paying attention, we saw a sell-off over the past few weeks. There were people panicking. I was looking at the fear and greed indicator and it was showing extreme fear. And everyone was saying that the AI bubble was here and we are going to finally see the recession that everybody was talking about. And then over the past week or so, the market has slowly started recovering and moving to the upside. And the reason that I bring that up is because I always say that you have to be able to invest money that you don't need. You're investing that for the future. You're investing in your financial future. So you want to be able to make sure the money that you invest into the market that you can leave in there for the long term. Kind of think about it like a 401k. That money comes out of your paycheck. It goes into your investment account. And for most of us that aren't watching it on a weekly or a monthly basis, we just don't even think about that money because it's not there for us to be able to use. Start thinking about your investment accounts that way as well. The only time I think about pulling money out of one of my brokerage accounts is if I want to go ahead and invest in something else. One of the things that you have to remember if you're looking to build out a long-term portfolio is there's going to be a lot of ups and there's going to be a lot of downs. The difference is you have to be able to weather that storm, stay consistent, and stick with your plan. Before jumping in and taking a look at how SCHD has been performing for me, I wanted to give you guys a quick word of caution on a few things that I've seen going on in the comment section. Guys, we have been growing on this channel over the past few months. We recently passed 6,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. But I have been noticing that there have been a lot of people that are trying to scam you in my comment section. Whenever I see someone that seems to be trying to scam you guys down in the comment section, I try to remove those comments as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, sometimes I miss them and I may not be able to get all of them. This right here is an example of one of the comments that these scammers are leaving in my comment section. Take a look at it, make sure that you're aware so you don't get yourself scammed. All right, so let's go ahead, let's take a look and see how SCHD has been performing for me. So right now, we're taking a look at my investment in SCHD, and at the very top left there, you'll see that I have a total P&L of $35.69. So over the past 270 days, my investment in SCHD is up almost $36 or 1.31%. Of course, I know that's not a lot of money. And yes, I do wish that this investment had a larger return. But one of the things you have to remember, this is a long-term investment. We are in it for the dividend play. And most people don't realize you don't make money on stocks or lose money on stocks until you liquidate your position. So as far as I'm concerned, it's nice to see that at least my account is green, especially with all the turmoil that's been going on over the past few weeks. But I'm not too concerned about it because remember, this is a long-term investment and I'm using this to supplement my 401k whenever I'm no longer able to work or whenever I'm ready to just hang it up and retire, especially if that's before I turn 59 and a half and I'll have money to use that'll bridge the gap between being able to use my 401k and the time I turn 59 and a half. And then next, we'll take a look to the right of that. We'll see that on the day, I'm up $15.99 or just almost 0.60%. So it looks like today this investment started to bounce back a little bit more and almost half of my open P&L was from today. So it's interesting to see that the market has bounced right after the Thanksgiving holiday. And I'm making this video on Black Friday. We only have a half market day today. I believe that we closed at 1 o'clock today. So it was nice to see that this position rallied a little bit. Next, we'll take a look at the market value, which is right below the open P&L there. So I have a total market value of $2,768.21. And I have a total cost of $2,732.53. Have an average price of $27.24. All right, so now we'll take a look at the quantity. I recently surpassed 100 shares of SCHD, as you can see right there. So in just about 1 year, just a little over 1 year, I was able to accumulate 100 shares of SCHD just by investing $10 every single day. And then if we take a look at my position ratio, it makes up 35.17% of this portfolio is made up of SCHD. And then the last price that SCHD was able to be purchased at was $27.60. All right, so now we'll take a look at this screen right here. So if you take a look at the top left, you'll see that SCHD closed on the day at $27.62. And to the very right of that, the top right here, you'll see that the volume today was 8.12 million shares of SCHD was traded today. We had a high of $27.62 and we had a low of $27.58. So very tight band that SCHD traded in today. We opened up at $27.46 and we had a 52-week high of $28.62 and a 52-week low of $23.41. So we're trading right up near that 52-week high. And it's been in that band. It's been in that $5 band for the past year. And then if we take a look at the cumulative 1-year return of SCHD, it's actually down negative 3.11%. So on the year, SCHD has returned a negative actual return. But again, since we haven't sold anything, we're not actually down. We're not losing anything if this investment is down and we're still holding on to our positions. All right, on this screen right here, we're taking a look at a monthly candlestick chart of SCHD. I like to show you guys this chart just so you could see how the position has been moving on a monthly basis. I did receive a comment from one of you guys that said, hey, you should probably be taking a look at least at a yearly chart so you can really see how it's been moving. I agree with that. Whenever I'm taking a look at what I'm going to be investing in, I always start out with at least a 1-year chart and then I work my way down. But just for the purposes of showing you how this investment has been moving, I wanted to just show you this, how it's been moving on a monthly basis. All right, let's take a look at how much I've received in dividends since I started investing in SCHD. So far, I've received a total of $47.56. I received my very first dividend on December 17th of 2024, $2.42. I received my second dividend on March 31st, 2025, $8.56. I received a dividend on June 30th of 2025, $15.20. And the last dividend that I have received was on September 30th, and that was $21.38. So as you can see, the amount of money that I have been receiving in dividends has continued to increase. every single quarter. The expected next dividend date is December 10th. My expectation during that time is that I will receive a dividend large enough that will actually allow me to buy one additional share of SCHD. I'm not taking any of the dividends out. I'm leaving them in my account and they're being reinvested back into my position. In just over 1 year, I'm up right around $40 in my investment in SCHD. Not a lot of money, but I'm in this for the long-term dividend play, and my expectation is 1 year from now, I'll have over 200 shares of SCHD, and the amount that I'm receiving in dividends will double or even triple from what it is today. Now let's take a look at some of the comments that you guys left on my last SCHD update video. So the very first one, why invest daily? I would think that a quarterly dividend, it would be more efficient to keep an eye on the price and pick up the dollar amount at the best price rather than hoping each day is a drop somehow. I'm sure it might average out over time. I'm just curious. Really good question. So I'll answer that in two ways. The very first way is that I'm investing in this portfolio on a daily basis. But I always tell you guys that you don't have to do that. I'm doing that because I wanted to see how these small investments could add up over a long period of time. In my other brokerage accounts, I invest weekly, and then my corporate sponsor Roth 401k, I invest in that monthly. So it's really up to you. Secondly, I don't try to time the market. Anyone that tells you that they can, they're simply just not telling you the truth. Now, there are some people that like to wait for market pullbacks to get into the market, and there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is if the market never pulls back and it continues to move to the upside, then you're just going to continue to miss your opportunity. So that's why I like the dollar cost average, and I suggest that most people dollar cost average at least on a monthly basis. But again, you could do whatever you want to do. It's your money, it's your investment. There's really not a right or a wrong way to approach it. The next comment is, when you do your tax return, won't you end up paying? So every year, your brokerage account will send you a tax form that you use to file whenever you file your taxes. If you have received a dividend, you will have to pay a capital gains tax on any dividends that you have received. I'm okay with paying that because, one, it's an investment. There's really no way around paying the taxes on your investments. And secondly, I'm not making enough from my dividends right now for it to really impact me from a tax perspective. There are tax strategies that we can employ to try to help offset some of the taxes that we make on investments. I'm not a tax professional, so my suggestion would be is to get with your accountant and go through some of those strategies that he or she may recommend to you. All right, so the next comment is, I tell my coworkers and friends and family members to invest all the time because you can never go back in time. Man, I love that comment. And I've said this a million times, you probably have too, or you've heard somebody else say it, that they wish they knew how important investing was when they were younger, because that's going to give us the longest amount of time to invest into a position and be able to use that whenever we're ready to retire. So shout out to you for trying to educate friends, family, and coworkers. One of the things that I have noticed is that most people are not going to take that advice. So if they don't take your advice, don't take it personal. It's just how some people are. Last comment that we'll take a look at here is, look at the total chart pattern since its inception. No hockey sticks here, but you can draw a line along the lows that goes from the lower left to the upper right. If you are in this for 10 to 15 years, you'll be just fine. This is truly investing. I do pair it with a growth ETF though. So he's absolutely right. If you're in this for the long term, we're not worried about the price. We are getting a nice dividend and we're continuing to invest in this position for 10, 15, 20 years. And whenever we're ready to cash out, that's when we'll be worried about how this position is doing at that time. I don't plan to change my investment in SCHD anytime soon. Now, if something drastic happens with this fund, one of the major drivers of this fund goes out of business, goes bankrupt, something like that, of course, I may reevaluate and change my overall direction. But for the long term and for the foreseeable future, I'm investing in SCHD. And then the second point that he made here is that he does pair his investment with a growth ETF. If you've watched any of my previous content, then you also know that I'm investing in Vanguard's VGT, which is an aggressive growth index fund that's based on information technology companies. All right, so that's my investment in SCHD. I'm up roughly $40, which is not a lot of money, but you guys know this is long-term focus. This is not a short-term investment that we're worried about, and we're just going to continue to do our thing and continue to stack. Now, I also mentioned in a previous video that I was going to be starting a brand new $5 a day investment challenge on January 1st of 2026. Now, the fund that I selected that I'm going to be investing in, which will be the fourth index fund that I'm adding to this portfolio, is Vanguard's VTI. I selected VTI because it includes every U.S. company on the stock market in that fund. This investment is going to give me exposure to every single company within the U.S. stock market, all within one fund. You guys know that I like Vanguard funds because of the low expense ratios. So I'm going to be adding this to my portfolio on January of 2026. All right, what do you guys think of my overall investment in SCHD? I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. And then also, what do you think about my selection of Vanguard's VTI? Is it something that you would have selected, or would you have selected something different? Leave a comment down below and let me know.